What does it truly mean to be strong? Is it the ability to fight, to never show weakness, or to always stand tall? Or is it something deeper, something quieter, yet far more unyielding? Strength is not loud or obvious. It's in how you endure life's storms, rise after every fall, and transform pain into power. Ask yourself this: how do you know if you're powerful? Could it be in the way you confront fear? In your ability to let go of what no longer serves you? Or perhaps in your quiet decision to keep moving forward when no one is watching? Marcus Aurelius once said, "True strength lies in a tranquil mind and an unyielding will." But how do you recognize this strength within yourself? How do you know if you're on the path to becoming unshakable? Today, we'll dive into 12 signs that reveal you are far stronger than you might believe. Each one is a marker of resilience, a testament to your inner fortitude, and a call to embrace your potential. These aren't just traits, they are principles rooted in Stoic wisdom, waiting to be awakened in you. Curious to see if these signs reflect your journey? Stay with me until the end. You may just discover strengths you never knew you had. Like, share, and subscribe to Victory Stoic if you're ready to uncover the depth of your power. And don't forget to leave a comment with the words, "I am stronger every day," to declare your commitment to your growth. Let's begin. The truth about your strength is waiting. Number 1, you accept your emotions instead of running from them. True strength begins with facing what most people avoid, your emotions. Pain, sadness, fear, anger. These feelings are not signs of weakness. They are part of being human. The strongest people aren't those who suppress their emotions, but those who acknowledge them, confront them, and refuse to let them dictate their actions. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, reminds us, "Don't fear emotions, observe them, let them pass, and master your response." This doesn't mean you deny the pain or put on a facade of indifference. Instead, it means allowing yourself to feel without being consumed. Imagine this: a river in flood. The current is strong, the water wild, threatening to sweep away everything in its path. You could try to fight the current, but it will overpower you. Or you could acknowledge its power, step back, and let it flow until it subsides. Your emotions are like that river. When you accept them, rather than fight them, you allow them to move through you without dragging you under. Consider Sarah, a woman who had just lost her job. At first, she was overwhelmed with shame and fear. Instead of pretending she was fine or letting these emotions paralyze her, she took a moment to sit with them. She named what she was feeling. "I'm scared about the future. I feel embarrassed." By acknowledging her emotions, she gave herself the clarity to move forward. She didn't let fear make her hide or give up. She used it as a push to update her skills and find a better job. This is the power of accepting your emotions. When you stop running from them, you take away their control over you. You shift from reacting impulsively to responding thoughtfully. Strength doesn't mean never feeling hurt. It means recognizing that hurt and choosing to act despite it. By facing your emotions with courage, you demonstrate a mastery of self that few achieve. You become the calm eye of the storm, watching as the chaos swirls, but never letting it take you down. The Stoics knew this well. They taught that emotions are fleeting. They come, they rise, and they fall. Your job is not to fight them, but to remain steadfast. Strength lies in this simple truth: you are not your emotions. You are the one who chooses what to do with them. Number 2, you hold firm to your values even when tested. True strength is revealed in moments of trial, when the world demands you compromise your principles to ease your pain or escape the storm. It's in these crucibles of life that the strong stand unyielding, their values shining like a lighthouse in the dark, no matter how fierce the waves crash around them. The Stoic Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." But what does it take to live by this wisdom when the cost is high? When standing firm means enduring ridicule, rejection, or loss, it takes a strength forged in conviction, a commitment to yourself and the ideals you hold sacred. Imagine a soldier on the battlefield, not of war but of moral conflict. He is surrounded by temptations to abandon his honor, to choose the easy path, to betray his truth for momentary gain. But he does not waver. His armor is his integrity. And though the fight is lonely, he knows that surrendering his values would be a greater defeat than any external loss. Consider Anna, a young journalist who was once asked to publish a false story that could have skyrocketed her career. The pressure was immense. Her colleagues urged her, her editors insisted, and the promise of success glittered before her. But Anna refused. She knew that her honesty and commitment to truth were non-negotiable. She faced backlash, even isolation, but in her heart, she carried the peace of knowing she had not betrayed herself. This is what it means to hold firm to your values, to endure the pain of standing alone, to weather the storm of criticism, and to choose the harder right over the easier wrong. It's not a path for the faint of heart, but for those who walk it, there is an inner triumph no external reward can match. The Stoics remind us that integrity is the foundation of strength. Epictetus said, "The greatest good lies in living according to your nature and your principles, regardless of what others may think." To betray your values is to fragment your soul. To stand firm is to unify it, to become whole and unshakable. When you hold fast to your principles, you become unbreakable. The world may take much from you, possessions, status, even relationships, but it cannot take your integrity unless you give it away. And when the storm passes, as it always does, you will emerge, battered perhaps but unbowed, with your values intact and your spirit triumphant. Strength is not the absence of struggle, it is the refusal to abandon what you hold dear, no matter how fierce the battle. This is the strength of the truly courageous, to remain unwavering, to remain whole, and to remain true. Number 3, you learn from failure, instead of fearing it. In a distant land, there was a blacksmith named Theron, renowned for his craftsmanship and his unyielding determination. One day, he was summoned by the king to forge a sword unlike any other, a blade so strong it could cut through anything, yet so light it could be wielded with ease. Theron labored for weeks, pouring his heart into the task. But when he presented the sword to the king, the blade shattered with the first strike. Ashamed, Theron retreated to his forge, haunted by his failure. His neighbors whispered, perhaps he wasn't meant to be a master after all. But Theron didn't abandon his work. He studied the broken pieces, searching for what had gone wrong. He realized that the metal he used wasn't tempered enough, and the process he relied on, while traditional, wasn't suited for the task. With each failure, Theron learned, adjusted, and grew. Over time, he developed a new technique, one that combined precision with patience. When he finally returned to the king, the sword he presented was flawless, sharp, resilient, and enduring. Like Theron, every one of us faces failure, and each failure offers a choice, to retreat in fear or to learn and rise stronger. The Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us, failure is not your enemy, it is your greatest teacher. It reveals weaknesses you didn't know existed, hones your skills, and prepares you for the challenges ahead. Think about it. A child doesn't learn to walk without stumbling, and no great achievement comes without its share of setbacks. Each failure is a test, not of your worth, but of your willingness to persevere. When you embrace failure as a stepping stone rather than a dead end, you unlock the strength to grow beyond what you thought possible. Consider Sarah, a young entrepreneur whose first business venture collapsed. Instead of giving up, she dissected every mistake she made: poor financial planning, lack of market research, and overconfidence. Armed with these lessons, she launched a second business, this time with calculated precision. That business thrived, not despite her failures, but because of them. Failure is not final, it is formative. It shapes you, refines you, and reveals the depth of your resilience. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." The obstacles you face are not there to stop you. They are there to teach you how to overcome them. When you stop fearing failure, you free yourself from the paralysis of perfectionism. You understand that the greatest success stories are written not in the absence of failure, but in the strength it takes to rise from it. So the next time you fall, remember, every scar is a lesson, every setback is a teacher, and every failure is an opportunity to forge a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Like Theron, your masterpiece is waiting. It just needs the courage to embrace the process. Number 4, you know when to say no. Strength isn't just the ability to say yes and take on more. True strength lies in knowing when to say no to protect your time, energy, and values. Saying no is not selfish, it's self-preservation. It's the realization that by setting boundaries, you honor yourself and your priorities. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, don't let your kindness turn you into a servant of others' desires. This wisdom speaks to the delicate balance between generosity and self-respect. When you say yes to everything, you dilute your energy and lose focus on what truly matters to you. Learning to say no is an act of courage, especially when faced with societal pressures or the fear of disappointing others. Take Jack, for instance. He was a hardworking professional who always went the extra mile for his colleagues. Every time someone asked for help, Jack would say yes, even if it meant staying late, sacrificing weekends, or neglecting his own needs. Over time, he felt drained, unappreciated, and resentful. His workload grew heavier, while his personal goals, fitness, relationships, self-care fell by the wayside. One day, after another late night at the office, Jack decided enough was enough. He started evaluating requests more critically, asking himself, is this aligned with my goals? Will this serve my growth, or is it just someone else's convenience? The next time a colleague tried to pass off their responsibilities, Jack respectfully declined, saying, I'm at capacity right now and need to focus on my priorities. At first, it was uncomfortable. Jack worried about appearing selfish or letting others down. But soon, he noticed a shift. His colleagues began respecting his boundaries, and Jack felt more in control of his life. By saying no to unnecessary demands, he reclaimed the time and energy to work on what truly mattered to him: his health, his hobbies, and his long-term career goals. Saying no doesn't mean you're unkind or unwilling to help. It means you're selective about where you direct your resources. Just as a ship can only carry so much cargo without sinking, you must choose what to take on and what to let go of. The Stoics teach us to act with intention and clarity. By saying no, you're not closing doors, you're ensuring the doors you walk through lead to purpose and fulfillment. It's an act of strength, not weakness, to prioritize your well-being and your values. Saying no is not rejection, it's redirection. It's the decision to focus on what truly matters and let go of what doesn't serve your growth. And that, in itself, is the hallmark of a truly strong person. Number 5, you don't need validation from others. There's a certain liberation in no longer needing applause to feel good about yourself. Imagine walking into a room and not caring whether people are impressed by your shoes, your job title, or your witty one-liner about the weather. You're not there to perform. You're there to be. That's strength. And honestly, it's a relief. The Stoic Epictetus said it best. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Translation? Stop craving validation from others. It's exhausting, fleeting, and honestly half the time people are too busy scrolling Instagram to notice you anyway. Let's take David, for example. David used to live for the likes, literal and figurative. Every post, every achievement, and even the choice of what to eat for dinner was carefully curated for maximum approval. Did the kale salad get enough comments about being so healthy? Did his new promotion make his high school classmates jealous enough? And if nobody said anything, did it even happen? But one day, David had an epiphany, or rather, a crisis. After posting a picture of his perfectly grilled steak, the likes didn't roll in as expected. Instead, someone commented, "Steak? Wow, that's unethical, plant-based life." David spiraled. Was he a monster? Had he failed to impress the masses? In his search for validation, he realized he'd handed strangers the keys to his self-worth. That's when David decided to stop living for the peanut gallery. He started making choices based on what genuinely mattered to him. He stopped posting every meal and started enjoying them instead. When he got a new job, he celebrated quietly with his close friends, rather than crafting a humble brag for LinkedIn. And guess what? The world didn't end. It got quieter, simpler, and a whole lot more satisfying. When you stop needing others' approval, you reclaim your life. You stop chasing and start living. The Stoics remind us, your value doesn't increase or decrease based on others' opinions. It simply is. Let's face it, the approval of others is like a sugar rush, brief, hollow, and ultimately leaving you wanting more. Real strength is finding contentment in your skin, whether or not anyone claps. So the next time you catch yourself seeking validation, remember David's stake. It's your life, your choices, and your worth, unapologetically yours. Number 6, you dare to let go of what no longer belongs to you. True strength lies in the ability to make the hardest decision, to walk away, to look at what once brought you joy, what once defined your world, and say, "This no longer serves me." It's a choice to endure sharp, immediate pain now, rather than let it slowly poison you for years to come. Many people lack this courage. They cling to what's familiar, even when it's killing them. But not you. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, love everything as if you knew it could vanish at any moment. This isn't a call to be cold or indifferent. It's wisdom born of understanding life's impermanence. To let go is not to abandon love or connection. It is to recognize when something has run its course and to prioritize your peace over the false comfort of holding on. Imagine standing in a burning building, the flames creeping closer. You know you must leave, yet you hesitate because you love the room, the memories it holds, the familiarity. The walls are crumbling, but you tell yourself, maybe the fire will stop. You stay, hoping against reason until the smoke suffocates you. This is what it feels like to cling to a relationship, a situation, or a dream that no longer fits your life. But strength, the kind you possess, chooses differently. You see the flames, and despite the pain of leaving, you walk away. You don't act on emotion alone, but on clear-eyed logic. You understand that the longer you stay, the deeper the scars will be and the harder it will become to rebuild. Take Mark, for example. He was in a long-term relationship that had turned toxic. Every day brought arguments, resentment, and a growing emptiness. He told himself, "But we've been together so long. What will people think? Maybe it will get better." Yet deep down, he knew the truth. Staying meant sacrificing his happiness and future. One day, Mark made the decision. He sat down, acknowledged the love they once shared, and chose to walk away. The first few weeks were agony, loneliness, self-doubt, and the whispers of what if. But as time passed, something remarkable happened. Mark rediscovered himself. He found peace, clarity, and the freedom to pursue what truly fulfilled him. He chose short-term pain for long-term happiness, and it was worth it. To let go is not to give up, it's to free yourself for what's next. It's a refusal to let the past anchor you in misery. It's an act of self-respect and a declaration that your happiness matters. The Stoics teach us that life is fleeting, and clinging to what's already gone only steals the precious time we have left. To let go requires courage, but it also grants something far greater: liberation. By daring to release what no longer belongs to you, you create space for growth, peace, and a life that aligns with who you truly are. The fire may burn now, but walking away ensures that you can breathe again. And in that breath lies your strength. Number 7. You are always learning and growing. Picture a hero, not one clad in armor, standing triumphant over enemies, but a quiet figure walking a winding path. Their weapon is curiosity, their shield is humility, and their mission is not conquest but understanding. This is the essence of strength. The courage to admit you don't know everything, and the wisdom to seek out the light of knowledge. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "Learning is a journey with no end." True strength lies not in arriving at a destination, but in the willingness to continue the quest, to see each day as an opportunity to become better than you were yesterday. The hero of this story is not driven by ego, but by a deep sense of purpose, knowing that growth requires an open mind and a humble heart. This hero approaches life with a quiet resolve, understanding that wisdom is often found in the simplest lessons. They listen more than they speak, recognizing that every person they meet and every challenge they face holds the potential to teach them something new. They are not afraid to ask questions, to be wrong, or to start over when necessary, because they know that learning is the path to true mastery. Imagine this hero standing in a vast library, the shelves stretching endlessly into the distance. Each book represents a lesson, an idea, a piece of wisdom waiting to be uncovered. The hero does not rush to read every book at once. Instead, they carefully select one, open its pages, and allow its truths to take root in their mind. This is how they grow, not through haste, but through patience and persistence. In this journey of learning, there are no trophies, no accolades, no grand parades. And yet, the reward is far greater: a life rich with understanding, a mind sharpened by experience, and a heart that is always open to growth. The hero does not learn for recognition or status, but for the quiet joy of becoming more than they were before. The Stoics understood that growth is not a single moment, but a lifetime of small, deliberate steps. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Do not think you've learned enough, for life will always teach you more." This humility, the recognition that there is always more to know, is the mark of true greatness. So as you walk your own path, remember this: you are the hero of your story, and every challenge, every question, and every experience is a chapter in your journey toward wisdom. Stay humble, stay curious, and let the light of knowledge guide you forward. The greatest strength is not in what you already know, but in your unwavering commitment to learn and grow. Number 8. You are persistent and patient in the face of adversity. Let's be honest, patience is not glamorous. No one writes epic poems about the person who quietly endures their struggles without fanfare. And yet, patience is the silent hero of strength, the grit that keeps you standing when the world feels like it's falling apart. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Time and perseverance conquer all things." It's poetic until you're the one stuck in the storm, clinging to your last shred of sanity, waiting for life to cut you a break. It's in these moments when the universe seems to be testing how much nonsense you can endure, that patience becomes your sharpest weapon. Picture this: you're stuck in a seemingly endless traffic jam, life's version of adversity. The car ahead isn't moving, your playlist is down to songs you hate, and the AC is on strike. Patience in this moment feels like a punishment. But here's the thing: losing your mind won't clear the road. Honking the horn won't magically make the cars vanish. So you wait, knowing full well that you'll get there eventually. Maybe not on time, maybe not gracefully, but you'll get there. Adversity is much the same. Life blocks your way with problems you didn't ask for, and delays you didn't anticipate. And yet, giving up isn't an option, so you keep going. You endure, not because it's fun or easy, but because deep down, you know that every storm eventually passes, even if it's moving at a snail's pace. Take Paul, a man whose career was derailed by a sudden layoff. He spent months sending out resumes, attending interviews, and hearing the soul-crushing, "You're not the right fit." At one point, he considered giving up entirely, convinced he was stuck in a cosmic joke with no punchline. But instead of quitting, Paul leaned into his struggle. He improved his skills, kept applying, and learned to laugh at the absurdity of it all. Eventually, he landed a job far better than the one he lost. His persistence paid off, not because he avoided adversity, but because he endured it with grit and, yes, a dash of humor. The truth is, being patient in adversity is like being the last person standing at an awful party. The snacks are gone, the music's bad, but you're still there, quietly waiting for things to get better. It's not glamorous, but it works. The Stoics remind us that the strongest people are not those who avoid struggle, but those who endure it without losing themselves. So when life drags you through the mud, laugh at the absurdity, wipe your face, and keep walking. Patience might not make the road shorter, but it ensures you reach the end stronger, wiser, and with a story to tell. Number 9. You are grateful for the small things in life. Gratitude is one of life's simplest yet most overlooked superpowers. It's not flashy, it's not loud, but it has the uncanny ability to transform even the darkest days into something bearable. To find gratitude in the little things is to discover wealth in places most people ignore. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "The richest person is not the one who has the most, but the one who needs the least." Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's already here, and suddenly the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Imagine you're rushing to work, and it starts raining. You're late, your shoes are wet, and your umbrella refuses to cooperate. It's the perfect recipe for a meltdown. But then you stop. You notice the sound of rain tapping on the pavement, the coolness of the air, and the way the city sparkles under the droplets. For a brief moment, you smile. Not because the situation is ideal, but because you found something beautiful in it. Take Alex, a man who used to measure his happiness by the big milestones, promotions, vacations, and expensive gadgets. But the more he achieved, the emptier he felt. Then, during a particularly tough time, he started keeping a gratitude journal. At first it felt forced. What's there to be grateful for when everything feels like it's falling apart, he thought. But as the days went on, he began to notice the small things. a warm cup of coffee, a stranger holding the door open, the sound of birds outside his window. These little moments became anchors, grounding him in the present and showing him that joy was always within reach. Being grateful doesn't mean you ignore life's hardships. It means you choose to find light even in the shadows. The Stoics teach us that gratitude isn't just about appreciating what you have. It's about needing less and finding fulfillment in simplicity. When you're grateful for the small things, you start to realize how rich your life truly is. The first sip of your morning coffee becomes a celebration. A conversation with a friend feels like a treasure. Even the act of breathing, steady and unremarkable, becomes a reminder of life's quiet miracles. Gratitude doesn't require grandeur. It requires attention. It's not about waiting for life to give you something big to celebrate. It's about celebrating the life you already have. And when you cultivate this practice, you unlock a strength that nothing can take away. The ability to find joy, even in the smallest details. So the next time you're tempted to overlook the little things, pause. Notice them. Thank them. Because in those tiny moments lies the secret to a life truly well lived. Number 10. You don't compare yourself to others. Life is a vast forest, and each of us is a unique tree, growing at our own pace, reaching for our patch of sunlight. Some trees stretch tall and wide, while others grow with quiet resilience, their roots digging deep into the soil. To compare yourself to another is to ignore the beauty of your path, to diminish the quiet victories of your growth. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us, "Be yourself, for no one else can do it for you." Imagine the absurdity of an oak envying a cherry blossom for its delicate flowers, or a pine resenting the sturdy trunk of a redwood. Each tree has its purpose, its rhythm, and its role in the grand tapestry of the forest. When you compare yourself to others, you rob yourself of the joy of your unique journey. It's like staring at someone else's path so intently that you trip over the stones on your own. Comparison is a thief. It steals your focus, your peace, and your progress. Instead, picture yourself as a river. No river flows exactly like another. Some rush boldly over waterfalls, while others meander gently through valleys. Each finds its way to the ocean, not by imitating another, but by staying true to its course. To compare your journey to someone else's is to forget the power of your current. The Stoics teach us that true strength lies in self-awareness. When you embrace your individuality, you free yourself from the chains of comparison. You stop measuring your worth by someone else's timeline or accomplishments. You become the architect of your own life, defining success on your terms. So, let others walk their path. Celebrate their victories, but don't let them define your value. Your journey is yours alone, unrepeatable, incomparable, and undeniably yours. Remember, a tree doesn't grow by looking sideways. It grows by reaching upward toward its light. Number 11. You master your emotions and actions. There was a time when my life was a blur of neon lights, loud music, and empty laughter. I chased fleeting pleasures, mistaking them for fulfillment. Night after night, I would find myself in crowded clubs, surrounded by strangers who felt like friends for a moment and then vanished with the dawn. I sought out women, one after another, believing their attention could fill the void inside me. But instead of satisfaction, I found only exhaustion, a hollow ache that grew louder with every passing night. It was exhilarating at first, of course. The thrill of the chase, the ego boost, the belief that I was untouchable. I lived for the fleeting highs, the moments of distraction from the questions I was too afraid to ask myself. But each morning, as the haze of alcohol faded and the noise of the night dissolved into silence, I felt it, the gnawing emptiness, the realization that I wasn't living, I was escaping. One night, as I stood alone in a room full of people, it hit me. The laughter sounded distant, the lights seemed harsh, and the conversations around me felt meaningless. I saw myself for what I was. Not a conqueror, but a man running from himself. That was when I understood the truth the Stoics had taught for centuries. Epictetus said, "You are in control of your actions, not the events around you." I had been blaming the world for my restlessness, using distractions as a shield from my own emotions. But the chaos wasn't outside, it was within me. From that moment, I made a choice. I stopped reacting to every impulse, every fleeting desire that promised momentary relief. I began to question my actions. Why am I doing this? What am I hoping to find? It wasn't easy. The temptation to return to the old patterns was strong. But with every decision to act deliberately, I felt a quiet strength building within me, a sense of control I hadn't known before. Mastering your emotions and actions isn't about denying yourself joy or passion. It's about aligning your choices with your values, instead of being led by every passing whim. It's the difference between being the captain of your ship and being tossed around by the waves. Now, when I look back on those nights, I don't feel regret, I feel gratitude. They were a reminder of what happens when you let impulses rule you. And they taught me the power of restraint, of choosing clarity over chaos, and of living with intention. The Stoics understood this deeply. Strength is not found in indulging every desire, but in mastering them. When you take control of your actions, you stop chasing illusions and start building a life that truly fulfills you. And that, I've learned, is the only real victory worth celebrating. Number 12, you build relationships with authenticity. Imagine walking through a radiant garden at sunrise. The air is fresh and filled with the scent of blooming flowers, their vibrant colors basking in golden light. Each plant is unique, some towering majestically, others small yet delicate, but all thriving because they are rooted in rich, honest soil. This is the beauty of relationships built on authenticity. The Stoics understood that true connection cannot flourish in pretense or superficiality. Seneca wrote, "True friendship is eternal wealth." It is not about appearances or convenience, but about genuine trust and shared values, a bond that nourishes the soul like sunlight on leaves. In this garden of relationships, every connection is carefully nurtured. You don't scatter seeds carelessly, hoping for quick growth. Instead, you plant with intention. You water each bond with kindness, tend it with honesty, and allow it to grow naturally over time. The result is not a fleeting burst of flowers, but deep-rooted trees that weather every storm. To build relationships with sincerity, you approach others without masks, free of pretense. You listen not to respond, but to understand. You give, not because you expect something in return, but because generosity itself is a gift. And in return, the connections you form are not shallow or transactional. They are deep, real, and enduring. Inauthentic relationships, by contrast, are like artificial flowers. They may look appealing for a moment, but they lack fragrance, life, and growth. They crumble under pressure, unable to sustain the weight of reality. But relationships rooted in truth are resilient. They thrive not only in moments of joy, but also in times of hardship, when the strength of their foundation is truly tested. When you cultivate authenticity, your garden of connections becomes a sanctuary. Here, there is no competition, no need to prove yourself, no fear of judgment. Instead, there is trust, respect, and a mutual desire to see each other flourish. To build such relationships is to invest in a wealth that no loss can diminish. It's to fill your life with the beauty of bonds that nourish you, challenge you, and inspire you to be your best self. As you walk through this garden, every step reminds you of what the Stoics knew to be true. The richness of life lies not in its fleeting pleasures, but in the enduring power of genuine connection. And so, as you continue tending to these relationships, the garden grows ever more vibrant, your sanctuary of light, fragrance, and unshakable strength. Conclusion. These signs are more than just proof of strength. They are a reminder that true power does not come from external circumstances, but is cultivated from within. Strength is not a gift bestowed upon you. It is a practice, a mindset, and a commitment to growth every single day. If you recognize yourself in these signs or feel inspired to develop them further, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Victory Stoic. Let's continue this journey of self-discovery and mastery together. And don't forget to leave a comment with the words, "I am stronger every day," to affirm your dedication to building an unshakable inner foundation. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Your presence here is a testament to your determination to grow and thrive. Let's meet again in the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into the powerful principles of Stoic philosophy. Until then, stay strong, stay resilient, and always remember that the strength you seek is already within you. See you soon.